I'm proud to be working class, and I'm proud to be anti-racist working class as well, and I will not have it in my town.
Brilliant. That was fire.
I'm saying it.
We're going to start off by talking about the eyebrows, right? You know. So I covered the race riots that are happening in the UK briefly when these psychopathic fascists said, England is our city, mate. They've gotten extra riled up. We're going to be talking about all this stuff. Counter-protesters actually showed up in massive numbers, showing once again to the entire planet that, like, the only thing you have in the face of this kind of shit is solidarity. When the Labour government, the liberal, leftist, supposedly, government is leaning in right-wing sentiment, the only people you have that will support you, that will defend you, is other people. It doesn't have to just be like other Muslims or other migrants or anything like that. You can see like white boys over here with the Jeremy Corbyn shirt on. You need other people to engage in community defense in times like this. And I'm really glad that they showed up in massive numbers, as counter-protesters showed up in massive numbers, outweighing the psychopathic inbred fascists. Sometimes 10 to 1, sometimes 100 to 1.
Newcastle united, black and white and brown.
Real Geordies are not fascists.
That the message of hundreds of anti-racism protesters in the city centre this morning. A city which, notably, has escaped disorder thus far.
I wanted to come here today with all these hundreds of people to make that clear that the Nazis and the right wing are unwelcome here in Newcastle.
And local Imam Ali Assad said police advised his community to stay away to reduce tensions.
Yeah, dude, hey, sorry. These people are trying to kill you. It would be nice if you just like hid. The f do you mean, bro? No, your job in that situation is to get the guys who are saying we're gonna hunt Muslims down and arrest them. You're supposed to fucking defend the people standing up to the racists. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. Absolutely.
From early morning, hundreds of officers drafted in. Northumbria, of course, but a large contingent from Gwent, South Wales, as well as neighbouring forces like Durham.
In the early days of these anti-immigrant riots, there were accusations from some that the police had on occasions been outflanked, taken by surprise. But in recent days, the response of the state has been twofold. Very public and very swift action in the courts.
Police established a cordon separating the large crowd from this. A group of less than 50 gathered with Union and St George flags to protest, they said, against immigration.
They're leaving their women and children at home. If they were that frightened for their safety, they'd send their women and children and fight for their country back.
I know that like things seem very dark, especially if you are a black or brown person living in the UK, if you're a Muslim person living in the UK, if you're Arab living in the UK, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? But I'm not gonna lie, dude. Watching British hogs not realize how fucking insane they sound has been incredible. They are stupid. They completely destroyed years and years of American media showing British people as like smart intellectual nerds. They have successfully destroyed it. Every time I see an EDL guy, I'm like, how can they be so fucking dumb? Some of my favorites have been the guy being like, they're taking off fucking jobs, lad. And then the woman will be like, have you tried to get a job? He's like, no, I haven't fucking tried to get a job. What's the reason? He's like, it's because I just got out of prison for burglary and assault, but they're taking off jobs. It's like, bro, what are you saying? Fix your life, big dog. Oh my God. Oh, here's the TikTok. You found it. It's like, it's
some foreigners that are coming over and taking our jobs.
This is not even the one I was talking about, but there are so many of these interviews.
Yeah, and not even working. And they're working.
They take our jobs if they're not working.
Because they do it. They do it. Simple as that.
Simple as they're taking our jobs and they're not even working. As someone who lives in the north, these people are like dogs. They don't work and bitch and moan all day down. The local about immigrants, no GCSEs or qualifications is sad because the majority of them are caught in a cycle of poverty, but there are no mechanisms to pull out. Our schools are really underfunded. And so our social mobility support, their hate is bred from a lack of exposure to other people. 100%. This is West Virginia. Like, this is Appalachia. They're not like a unique breed, okay? This is just what happens when you run on like white supremacist fumes as a defense mechanism, as a way to like generate a sense of entitlement for yourself when you have no other fucking outlet, when you have nothing. You've been given no fucking training programs. You've been given no options to like work. It's not like these people wouldn't work if they had the opportunity, but they've become like hateful little demons who are now just like unleashing on other people who are born out of the same fucking material conditions as they are. They just look different. Nobody is born racist, okay? Nobody. Remember that. It is all a byproduct of the material circumstances that you're subjected to, the material conditions that you're born into. The social conditioning is how you become racist. That's it. And these guys have nothing. And the only people that are reaching out to them and trying to help them use their anger and resentment and frustration. They capture their resentment and anger and frustration, and they fucking launch it upon people who are trying to make a living. Most of the protesters aren't racist anti-immigration. They just want to smash windows and use the pretense of anti-immigration to do so. The same people avoided the top of the hour ad break without knowing what an ad break was. First one of the day, and you cooked me. Y'all are the worst. I mean, I called that this was going to happen with the Keir Starmer election. I'm shocked at how quickly they seized on this, and I'm kind of shocked that the EDL has this much play still. I did not think that Tommy Robinson would make a comeback this hard, this fast.
When people accuse you of being a racist, what do you say?
A racist? I'm not a racist.
Yeah, bro, you're wearing a fucking Yankees hat, okay? If you're a British person and you're wearing a Yankees hat, the likelihood that you're racist goes up unimaginably high, okay? Straight up. I saw people wearing Trump merch. That is crazy. I saw dudes waving Trump flags. It's like the universality of fascism, the universality of hogs. It's beautiful. It's poetic. It's something that I've talked about quite a bit. Kind of funny to see it in action in real time.
Are you a racist, sir?
Whoa.
That's what people say. People accuse the...
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, that's
Whoa.
what they accuse.
Dog, why are you Sig Heiling? He said, whoa, am I a racist? I've only done Sig Heiled a couple times now. I don't know why I'm doing an indecipherable accent here, but this English girl got Trump tattooed on her head. Yo!
Obviously, people are asking why I got this tattoo. At the end of the day, I absolutely love and appreciate what Trump has done for America.
Bro. It's got to be a fake tattoo. Even as a fake tattoo, doing this is so insane. Oh my God. I think British hogs, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, might actually be dumber than American hogs. What happened to your public schools, man? How do you explain the prevalence of racism among the upper and middle class then? Shouldn't they be woke? Bro, racism isn't just born out of it's still the same social conditioning that upper middle class and rich people also experience as well. I've never said that only poor people are racist.
Look at all the people here, what we've been branded as right-wing football hooligans.
Would you condemn the violence then?
Of course I do.
No significant disorder from either group, but we witnessed a number of arrests across several hours of protest. Most of those detained were from the small anti-immigrant gathering, including this person arrested, police said, because he was wearing a lifelike mask.
What the fuck? No, that's weird as hell, bro. What the fuck was that guy doing? That's sus as hell.
Police ordered both groups to disperse at 3 p.m, and they did, bringing proceedings to an end without the violence which we've seen across the northeast, from Sunderland to Hartlepool to Middlesbrough.
In Liverpool, the imam of one mosque decided to reach out to those involved in far-right protests to try and bring the community together.
Several hundred anti-racist protesters gathered at Liverpool's Pierhead at lunchtime today. There were just a handful of opponents with a single Union Jack. The imam addressing the anti-racist rally today has spent the last few days trying to build bridges with some of those who've been demonstrating outside his mosque.
There's an image of you hugging a man. What was the story behind that?
I actually asked this individual, what exactly is it that you're here to protest against? And he didn't have a straight answer. In the end, he said, we're fed up with the police. And I said to him, shouldn't the protest maybe be outside the police station instead of the mosque then?
So that's the other thing. Anyone that is trying to make this seem like it's anything but rampant Islamophobia, rampant white supremacy, they're delusional. I have seen it in the British media repackaging this as anti-immigrant protesters, not openly stating that they are genuinely Islamophobic. Part of that is because the media has whipped up these people in a fucking frenzy. Make no mistake, this is not like an anti-cop, anti-government protest. Mate, you're delusional. You think I'm delusional for saying that these fucking protests that literally target mosques. It's kids mostly. Name one mosque they attacked. Name one mosque they attacked. What do you mean? 43-year-old man was charged with racially aggravated criminal damage after a mosque was targeted. An item was thrown at the window in Shaftesbury Street, Newport, about 7 BST on the 1st of August at Gwent Police. Yeah, a 43-year-old kid did that. Also, the video that we're looking at is literally a protest outside of a mosque. Like, this guy is talking about with one of the fucking protesters. Why are you protesting outside of a mosque if you hate the police? You're fucking insane. One of the first major incidents was when they literally attacked the mosque. The very first attacks. They burned a library. They attacked a mosque. They defaced graves, Muslim graves. They burned that library because there was a post going around Facebook saying that they were replacing the books with the Quran. They set fire to multiple hotels, looted stores, burned and looted mosques, burned down a public library that was newly built, and they have injured people too, yes. Who are the rioters and what jail sentences have they received? This is from 1 day ago. Look at all these fucking kids, dude. A lot of people don't want to face the fucking reality. Misinformation is a major problem here. This doesn't mean that there aren't teenagers also fucking participating in this shit, but you're out of your mind. Many of the agitations are coming from known people. People that I'm surprised have made a glorious return. Stephen Yaxley Lennon, also known as Tommy Robinson, the EDL, the English Defense League. Douglas Murray called for violence too. Of course he did. He's a fucking right-wing freak. Regular BBC contributor Douglas Murray. If the army will not be sent in, then the public will have to sort this out themselves, and it'll be very brutal. I don't want them to live here. I don't want them here. They came under false pretenses. He's not talking about the racist rioters that need to be dealt with. He is talking about black and brown people.
Lost control of the streets. Now, is it time to send in the army at some point? Probably yes. But if the army will not be sent in, then the public will have to go in, and the public will have to sort this out themselves.
He's talking about the public sorting out migration.
It'll be very, very brutal.
By the way, massive Zionist, massive defender of Israel. That's another part of the story that I haven't even gotten to. The British government, under Tory leadership, and even under Labour leadership, really, is super aggro towards anyone that says free Palestine. They really, really lower their interest of like doing their due diligence, you know, upholding the rule of law when it comes to fucking psychopathic, rabid fascists.
Many of them came illegally and continue to come illegally, and we don't want them here. They have betrayed all of our attempts at hospitality. They've spat in our faces.
Yeah, dude, by what? Bringing halal food? Like actually using the seasoning? Like, what do you mean? Oh, they've spat in our faces. They're disrespecting us by existing around our white skin. Shut the fuck up. See, this is the posh racist, old school fascism. Tory to the bone. Anyway, the ones complaining are wealthy EDL supporters. As a customer at my place of work as the owner of 2 houses and 5 cars. I'm tired. Gross, gross, gross. Elon Musk found this pic of the UK justice system. This man is a straight up white supremacist, dude. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. Apartheid Elon, dude. You know his ass is begging for Rhodesia, but he's just like too much of a coward to openly state it. So he has to do these like memes to sneakily do it. Cuck porn is also a giveaway, obviously. Racialized cuck porn, a fan favorite of white supremacist losers.
But do you accept some of these people have been racist at these demonstrations?
There definitely is racism. But I don't think it's meant with ill intent. And I'm not talking about the organisers of the event, by the way, because they are troublemakers and they want to turn races against each other and communities against each other. But I honestly believe, and this is what I've witnessed, that the vast majority of people who've been protesting against Islam, against the Muslim community, I genuinely believe that they are beautiful human beings who were driven after Southport by their emotions, mixed together with a lot of toxic narratives they've been seeing in the media and online, especially during the election campaign.
He is a imam in England and he's super telegenic. Obviously, he's going to be nice about like the people trying to murder him. The media is unimaginably hostile to Muslims. British media is absolutely worse. They have been inflaming tensions non-stop. And the Labour Party has also absolutely leaned on this shit. Now, for those of you who are new to the story, maybe unfamiliar, in Southport, there were mass stabbings that occurred where 3 children were killed and 10 others were injured. 9-year-old Elise Da Silva Aguar, 6-year-old Baby King, 7-year-old Elise Stancombe died after sustaining serious injuries when a knife man entered Heart Center during a Taylor Swift-themed dance class on Monday, 29th of July. 8 other children suffered stab wounds, and 2 adults were also critically injured. Normally in the UK, they don't release information until a conviction comes out about who the criminal is, especially if the person responsible for the crime is underage, which in this circumstance, the mass stabber was underage. Immediately fake news ran with it all over social media and started saying they're hiding who the stabber was because he's a migrant of Muslim background. Some people were claiming that he was an undocumented migrant of Muslim background. Turns out none of those things are true. The stabber actually was from a Christian family and was born in Wales. He was black, but he was a Welsh Christian. And he also had like obviously significant mental health problems. But it did not matter. Just like with the Imam Khalif situation, immediately they ran with these false narratives. In a country like England that has been struck by austerity for so many years, where there is so much instability, so much poverty, and with both parties, including Labour, running on right-wing anti-immigrant sentiment, everyone was primed for like any kind of pivotal moment. And at a time when we see right-wingers basically lose their fucking minds on things that are completely delusional, completely nonsensical, it doesn't matter what the truth is. What matters is how people feel. What matters is how many people will lean on this new narrative born out of hysteria that corresponds to their biases. No amount of proof would get people to actually fucking believe the reality in front of their eyes. They don't care. Nobody cares about the truth anymore. But this story is not simply about like a Christian person doing the stabbing, because like even if it was a Muslim migrant that engaged in the stabbing, that still would be unimaginably inappropriate to just like run on this race riot. Like it would be completely unacceptable. It's actually fucking crazy that we've moved past instances of violence that like people commit and then that being attributed to the entire marginalized population to just like, oh, I just felt like this was the population that is at fault. And I don't know how to fucking solve this problem, but let's see how Novara covered it.
So I come here to Barnsley, just a bit north of Sheffield and Rotherham. Stand Up to Racism have called another anti-racist demonstration here. In a way, what we encountered last night was a sort of clash between, on the one hand, a far-right fantasy about how it is the organisation politically works. You just write a list of names, people will show up. That's not adequate, it turns out. And an intuitive community anti-fascist response that has been sort of moulded and grasped by groups like Stand Up to Racism. So we're going to go and talk to them about what their strategy is going forward. What were you expecting to happen here today? Because from what I can see, we've got maybe 10 police vans, loads of police, quite a few counter-protesters, but no far right.
There's some shops have been closed. People are frightened. And having gone to the WOTH demonstration on Sunday, where there are 1,000 very violent right-wing thugs, I was concerned that that might happen again.
What do you think has led to so many people, attacking a refugee hotel in Rotherham? Is it this kind of misinformation, or do you see a different cause?
We've been drip-fed anti-migrant rhetoric for many years by the media, by politicians, and it's just kind of leaked into public spaces.
Personally, I'm an immigrant here. I've been living here in Barnsley for 5 years now, and
This guy's Turkish. I know my people anywhere. 100p Turkish.
I've received a lot of support from the people, the locals of the Barnsley to start off with, and ever since I was granted the leave to remain, I've always tried my best to give back to the community. We've been through a lot of war, our countries have been torn apart. We just want to be somewhere safe, have a safe, and UK, especially the locals, personally in Barnsley, they have given us that peace.
There's a lot of poverty and people struggling and stuff like that. We live in a sort of blame culture, and people are looking for people to blame, so it's easy to make scapegoats of these sort of minority groups and stuff like that. The bigger issue is looking a little bit higher above and looking at the government and saying, you're accountable for what's happening in this country. What are you doing to address this? I think what we forget in this country, that we're a nation of immigrants. Barnsley didn't exist before mines, when mines were introduced and stuff like that. People migrated here to work, to work, look after their families. And this is generally as it happened. Refugee escaping World War II and that came here as a migrant. And I'd like to think that if I were desperate and in need of help or support, I could count on the people win this country and your local communities and stuff like that. And at the minute, it seems just very divisive.
All they come over here for is for the benefits that they get. Oh my goodness!
I don't think we're going to get anywhere.
She wants refugees to come in. We don't. This country's full. It's exploding. You can't get a doctor's appointment. You can't got to sit at hospital 6 and 7 hours if you want an A&E appointment.
So it's not the refugees. It's actually the lack of funding, the austerity implemented by the party that you voted for every single election, you old hag. Oh my God, max cap on voting, age cap on voting now. They literally keep voting for Tory governments over and over and over again. Tory governments keep delivering austerity over and over and over again. And they're like, who might have done this? It must be the fucking migrants, yeah? No, bitch, you did it. You voted for it over and over again. Fuck you mean the migrants? The migrants are working at the NHS, dumbass.
Why have I got my son, and he was in Kosovo and he got shot, yeah? I've had to put up and rehouse because they can't get housing. They don't get put up in 5-star hotels. Perhaps it's not refugees that we should be protesting against. It's the way they're looked after.
Yeah, dude, they're living mint, dude. Notice how the rhetoric is identical in America? We got the fucking homeless people here, but don't we look after them? We put the migrants in 5-star hotels.
They've let them in, yeah? That's what the problem is. Lefties. I hate lefties. I've never been to politics up to 2 years ago, yeah? I've never voted in my life up till this year, yeah? My first vote this year, I voted for reform. It was YouTube that brought me to the attention of what's going on in this country and the votes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known.
Do you know the names of the channels?
Just your normal everyday bloggers. And the mainstream media are just liars.
I love that he's just like pointing to the steps of his radicalization.
Targeting us as right wing. We're not right wing.
Bro, you voted for reform. What do you mean you're not right wing, bro? You are here to do an anti-immigrant protest. Like, the cognitive dissonance here is out of control.
I mean, look at London. You can't go in. I've been to London once in my life because it's an absolutely terrible place. You know what I mean? And you go to London now, and if you're of white descent, you get stabbed. If you're of black descent, you get stabbed. I mean, most of them are blacks that stabbing each other through drugs. You know what I mean? And Sadiq Khan doesn't know what to lie to everybody. And he's a Muslim. Why have we got Muslims in a Christian country, in power? I don't understand it. It's wrong.
Bro, he is progressively getting more and more unhinged.
It wasn't the migrants that made Barnsley, services not work, this kind of thing. It was actually Thatcher closing the pits. Do you sympathise with that narrative?
It was Thatcher. She killed this country. She absolutely killed it, especially up north, where all mining towns were. It's the same as Wales.
Tell me about two-tier policing. What's that?
Two-tier policing. Look what they're doing, mate. They're coming over, raping us kids, killing people. But we've got to stand for it. We can't protest. But it's all right for them to protest.
This is why he goes off. What are you doing?
Leave him alone. He's a kid, boy. He's a child. Look at what you're doing to him. Get on video. Stay back.
I sometimes take a deep breath and think to myself, like, is this how right-wingers feel all the time? Like a system that is designed to basically destroy their ideological enemies? Because, like, it makes me realize why right-wingers love cops. I can't imagine a world where, like, the police were just, like, actively targeting white supremacists on a regular basis, just only them. It's kind of like seeing January 6th a little bit, or, like, what happened after January 6th. People that just, like, broke into the Capitol and did a shit ton of crimes, photographed themselves, filmed themselves, live streamed themselves doing crimes, actually got to experience the criminal justice system. The perpetual victimhood narratives are also crazy. Like the two-tier policing shit is like straight up perpetual victimhood. I'm a victim of police brutality. I'm a victim of the police like not letting me, burn down a mosque or whatever, or just like terrify a brown family.
This is usual for Barnsley. You've seen this before in Barnsley?
Not recently, back in the miners' strikes, things like that.
That's the other thing. Hogs from either side of the political spectrum in the UK, especially if they're old enough, remember a time when the Tory government killed them. That's why you see these reform guys sometimes, not saying this guy is a reform guy. Like the anti-police sentiment runs deep. The anti-Tory sentiment runs deep. That guy who literally voted for reform and was like, I'm not a racist, proceeded to say some of the most racist shit you've ever heard. That guy literally also shit on Thatcher.
Just because you're wearing a balaclava, don't mean to say you're going to burgle somebody's house, does it? I think they're trying to go fishing.
What kind of fishing? What kind of fish?
I say, bleep, bleep, bleep. Too many of them in our country.
Again, hates Thatcher, hates the cops, reform voter.
Send them back to their fucking country. I'm not racist or out like that, but I just don't fucking want them in England.
I thought these dogs were not allowed. I thought Rishi Sunak tried to ban these dogs. Turns out the cops are using them. Oh no, that's not even a fucking cop dog. That's that dude's dog. Okay, dude, fuck you.
There's no need to be so aggressive. Back up for us, please. Get back.
Oh my god, these pig fucks, dude. Come on, bro. That's what you do? Like, let him leave. Let him go home.
This police officer is from the TSG. That's the Tactical Support Group, which is also known as Serial 1, which is a civic riot squad that is brought in to police things like this demonstration.
It's not about racism. I've got plenty of black friends, plenty of Asian friends. Look, it's about what's ours.
Bro, that is an Iraqi uncle, bro. I know people from my region, bro. He's literally white, though. What do you mean? No, dude, no way. This dude is like, at most, I'm going to give him Lebanese, okay? Maybe.
To be honest, if I was policing a demonstration about two-tier policing, I wouldn't do that if I was the police, because it's been quite a severe response. There's now a cordon around a group of people. They've all been separated out, individual police officers speaking to them. It seems like this is probably going to backfire, because if you're in Barnsley, like lots of people just are, and they see this, the idea of two-tier policing is going to seem a lot more compelling to them. What do you make of the police response? Some really quite severe responses by the police, kettling groups of the far right.
Bro, she's just waiting. She's fucking waiting to pop off. Look at this.
Over there, pushing what looked like a child up against the wall for quite some long time. Is that a counterproductive response, or is that actually what you'd expect to see?
Well, did you see how the police were treated the other day? That's somebody's mum or somebody's dad or somebody's brother, and they were treated atrociously. And if you come and you behave in a violent and aggressive manner, then you have to face the consequences.
Play with matches. That's what happens. If you come here looking for violence and not looking for peaceful protest, then unfortunately you're going to face the law and what happens to people who decide to say their views, say their opinions in a way that is not productive, not helpful to anybody, and that makes people who are vulnerable, makes people who are from the most vulnerable minorities in society, make them feel scared and frightened, and that's not what we're about. We've got a bar over there that's Brazilian, favela. We've got Pizza Americano, which if you're from Barnsley, it's an absolute stronghold of after a night out. Everybody's getting a pizza from there. Owned by people who are not from Barnsley, foreign people. Soul Lounge, not British, not Barnsley. Everywhere, everything in this town has got some contribution from non-British, non-Barnsley people. Half our Barnsley team are not British, and we love it. The immigrants make our society better. They're what make us better as people and make us proud to be British. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people making the small minorities in society the scapegoat for all the problems. Your problems are from classism. Your problems are from the top down, people making us feel small because we're working class. But I'm proud to be working class, and I'm proud to be anti-racist working class as well, and I will not have it in my town.
Brilliant. That was fire. It does make me really fucking happy to see the oi bruvs out there defend their communities, to see the fucking oi bruvs out there go out on a fucking limb and take it to the streets and say like, no, we stand against racism. Respect.